For the last 2 years, 90% of my work was shot with this lens. This is why it could be the only lens that you will ever need. Bonjour, welcome to your home for your creativity and your well-being. I'm Melody, a photographer, art director, and yoga teacher based in London. And today we're talking about my all-favorite lens to shoot with, the 28-70 Canon f2. I will explain to you in this video why this lens completely transformed the way I shoot and why it might be the best lens for you. I wanted minimal gear and maximum quality. I've started actually to shoot with a Fujifilm X100F that I just have right here. My Fujifilm was great. It's not like a full professional camera, so I was a bit limited, especially when you shoot movements. The speed was not, great. I was still managing it, but it was not great. And also it was a fixed lens. You can definitely start with anything. But when I've been made redundant, I really wanted to upgrade my gear just to be able to shoot more things. That was limiting me to get some jobs. The main choice was really the constant f2. This is incredible to have on a zoom. If you're a bit technical, you'll know. Low light performance is good. Sometimes I shoot in nightclub, yoga, low lights, and this is really helping me. It doesn't mean that I shoot all the time in f2, of course, but that is incredible to have from the 28 to 70. There is a lot of pros in this lens. I'll start with the very logical one, but it's a zoom, so it gives you a lot of versatility. Do you want to shoot the scene that is larger? Do you want to focus on portrait or zoom in something very precise? This for me was extremely important. The minimal gear setup. 90% of my work is shot with this lens, which is very true. The rest is like 10%. It's property photography where I use the 15-35 where you really need those wide angle, and sometimes I do use the 70-100 for events, but that's very specific jobs. I travel sometimes for work, even if it's in London. Not having a car, carrying the gear, it can be quite tricky, and the fact to just have one lens that covers everything is great. You don't have to change constantly your lens. Some of you might say, well, I have two camera body, I can have two lenses. That's very true, and I'm not talking about precise work like weddings where you might need really two bodies. When you just need one camera, you still have a zoom, so you have a lot to play around, but you are focused into I can't change the lens anyway because I don't have another lens. And one lens with that range of aperture is way enough to play with already. You don't have to think about changing your gear and you can just focus on your creativity. Third point is the creative freedom. In only one lens, there is so many things that you can do to shoot one scene. You can have really large, you can zoom in and you can change the aperture to have all blurry in the background or super neat around. This is very powerful and you can really play around and do a serious photo with only one lens, which is incredible. You stay in the moment so you don't have any distraction. I can really feel what is happening around in the shoot. I don't need to think about the gear, and this is what you want to do when you know your lens because you're always shooting with it and you know your technique. You can just express freely and sing what is really going on the day, which is the main point. It helps me to have a mindful approach to photography. I do like to be limited with gear. I think I work best when it's minimal, but I do like to play with the range I have, and this lens is just perfect. Last point, I don't know if it's a pro or not, and I definitely didn't buy it for that, but as you can see, it's like super huge and super bulky. It does give you the look of being very professional. Again, for me, it's not a pro or a cons, it's just this is really massive, and when people see it, they are like, okay, that's a really huge lens. Now let's talk about the cons. There's not a lot. For me, they're not really cons, but I think that it's nice to express them because they might be for you. The weight, it's super heavy, but carrying multiple lenses is heavier in a backpack. I would say this is super heavy, especially when you shoot with like one arm like this. To give you a little story time, when I started to shoot with it 2 years ago, I started to develop tendinitis in my wrist, so I train at the gym just to get my fingers, my wrist and my arm stronger. I kind of see it like a pro and not a con because then I kind of need to train those muscles in my body, and I think it's super healthy. I would say the weight really only annoys me when I do need to use my flash. The flash Plus the lens carrying like this, it's so heavy that sometimes it gets a bit in the way of my creativity. Now, I don't use my flash often. It's the only really cons, the super heavy with flash and the lens at the same time, if you need to carry just with one hand. The last point, again, not really a con, but just something to be careful of. The filters are quite expensive because, as you can see, the lens is super big and the filter costs a bit more if the diameter of your lens are bigger. So it's not a massive difference, but if you do love to play with filter, the cost can be slightly higher. I recommend this lens 100% for you. It's been changing my work, I love it, and now I really have an emotional attachment to it. I really treat this lens like a part of myself. Obviously, as I mentioned before, I can use different lenses for different specific shoots, but this is my favorite lens ever so far anyway, and I think it's totally worth it. What is incredible is that it covers so many jobs. Like, you always think you need new gear. This lens can truly cover like 100% of your jobs. It's still a lot of money, of course, but if you want to invest in one lens and you want your gear to be very minimal, 100% recommending it. If you are worried about the weight, just see it as a good workout, okay? You need to work out your fingers, your wrist and your arm, and this is really good for you. Let me know in the comments, first of all, if you like the review, if you want me to do more, and also what kind of lens do you use? Do you have a favorite one that you really don't want to change? At the end of this video, I'll link a yoga class that I've done because I know us creative, we can have pain in our body, so go to practice some yoga with me if you want to, or go to my channel to see more creative video, and I'll see you in the next one.